Hello and welcome, and I'm at the Cleaning Expo today, and I'm here with the king of controllers. Anybody that doesn't know who you are, Ian?
Yeah, so Ian Shepherd, Spring Europe LTD, and we are the manufacturer of V16 and other pump controllers commonly used in window cleaning industry, soft washing, and other areas of cleaning. So Spring does more than just pump controllers, but today we're going to have a little look at some of the common messages people come across day to day and hopefully help a few people so we can get them back on the ground and up and running.
So one of the main questions that regularly comes out on social media is a problem with the pump and the controller. It's more often the controller, and it's not a problem with the controller itself, it's more over the settings. So we're just going to go through the most common problems.
Yeah.
So Ian, what would you say the most common problems are?
Very often people will see DE, dead end, come up unexpectedly. They're working away on a building, suddenly there's no water, and they, what's going on? Walk back to the van and they see DE. The other one people will often see is what is referred to as P5. Actually it's PS, the pressure switch. I'm happy with either. When it works, it works. And so we're going to see the pump stop, water flow stop, and it may be the first time people have seen one of those two messages.
And there's other little niggles as well, like you might find that your hose doesn't start up when you pull your univalve or turn your tap on or whatever, connect, and you might get it sort of pulsing, jet pulsing. So these are common problems. So first of all, what is DE?
DE is dead end. Effectively what we're really saying is water stop. So you've closed, you've pulled your univalve, you've turned off your tap, you've twisted the hose, so we've stopped the water flow. And the idea of the controller is that the controller detects that and we stop the pump well before the pressure switch needs to do it. By doing it that way, we are protecting the pump and the pump pressure switch. It's a nice, quick, if you like, soft way to stop flow. So you're 9 out of 10, if you're working away and you're using the univalve, you won't see DE because you're 50, 60 metres away. It's that time when, as you said, that the flow is a bit stop-start, or it stops suddenly, and you walk back to the van and you're going to see DE or dead end.
So what, with dead end, you can basically set your dead end level, can't you?
You can.
Which you do through the auto calibration.
Correct.
Now you can also manually set that. So what will you see if your dead end is set too high?
If it's too high, you're going to find that you won't get DE on the controller. You'll get pressure switch. You'll see the P5 message. Now the reason for that is when we're setting the calibration, as Dave is saying, what we're doing is telling the controller roughly the amount of current that is drawn while you're in open flow. So you're working away, you've got your 1.5 litres a minute at the brush, and the controller knows, okay, there's 2 or 3 amps of current. When you close your valve, turn off your tap, the current changes, and that's what the controller sees. 9 out of 10, that's just normal function. What you will find is if you've set that calibration too high, it means the control is very slow to go into dead end. The pressure builds up in the hose line, and you'll find that the pressure switch on the pump actually activates, and that stops the pump. Now, that's not a big deal in most cases. Ideally, you want to see DE, not P5, but it's not a huge issue. Long term, it may cause damage to your pump. Short term, it's not a big deal.
Right. So what do you get if you set your dead end too low?
Well now then you've mentioned already that the water jet pulsing. So it seems to sort of stop and we get this kind of wave. And what that is the controller going, oh, I need to turn the pump on. Oh no, I don't. I need to turn the pump on. Oh no, I don't. And it just means that the calibration value is too low. The controller is, in effect, cycling the pump on and off. The easy answer is, to be honest with you, is I would say to people, run a bit of hose, connect your pole hose, connect your brush, if you can safely, lean the brush up against your van, so you're creating a bit of load on the pump, and you can then either use the auto cal feature. If you're going to use auto cal, set the flow rate first. So if you're running at 30, 40, 50, whatever you're using, set that first, then auto cal. If your pump is kind of pulsing on and off, you can go into the calibration setting, and you've mentioned a manual change.
Yeah.
And you might find the calibration set at, for example, 25. Increase it a little bit. Just use the up button, change it to 28, 29. What you're looking for is that the flow to the brush is now consistent. Once it's consistent, leave that there, enter for set, and you should be good.
So we've talked about the dead end, set too high and set too low. So basically, the dead end is an electrical switch off of your pump.
Yeah.
So now we'll go on to PS or P5, which is pressure switch. And this is a mechanical stop, isn't it?
It's a mechanical stop on the pump and an electrical stop on the controller. Again, what we're looking at is when your pump pressure switch opens, so we've got too much pressure and the pump stops to protect itself, there's an electrical switch, actually it's a mechanical switch, and it physically opens and it stops the pump. Now, when that happens, there's no electrical circuit. And that's why you'll see the P5 PS message, is because the controller's saying, oh, this is all turned off. The controller is just telling you it is happening rather than actually making it happen. Now, there are going to be two reasons why you'll see this 9 out of 10. One is there's a lot of pressure in the system. It may be you're running the pump very hard in the 90 range. Pump is working hard, you're going into a small hose, and that's going to create pressure. The other one, and this is probably more common, is we're driving around in vehicles all day, okay? And the roads in the UK are brilliant, aren't they? They're fantastic. No potholes. And of course your van's bouncing around. Now, occasionally that will mean over time, the connectors in your cables, they will pull apart, they work apart. As far as the controller's concerned, there's now no circuit. So it's going to show P5. When you see that message, first thing to check is no blockages, pump pre-filter, hose isn't twisted, and maybe there's a blockage in the brush jets. It could be that actually as you've wound your hose on, somebody's done it a little bit tight, all those kind of things. So those are the first things to check. Second, just follow through the wiring, because 9 out of 10 you'll find that as you follow the wiring through, there's a connection that's just moved very slightly, pop it back together. Now, it's another interesting one that actually I had a conversation early this week, and the story is somebody's got a lovely system in their van. They need to go and get it weighed because it's a commercial vehicle. They've emptied the tank. Oh dear, okay, so we've now created a lovely big airlock. You've got a 500 litre tank full of air. And in that situation, you might see PS come up. And the reason it's coming up, because it's an airlock. And the reason is, the pump is driving against nothing. So it's the current is so very low, the controller thinks it's off. So another thing you may find with P5 is that you might have an airlock. Now with those guys, I simply said, once you've filled your tank, prime the pump for 30 seconds, problem goes away. Yeah. So those are the common things you'll see with PS or P5. And I'm happy you guys say P5, I know what you mean. That's use phrases we're comfortable with.
So are there any other common problems?
Those are the ones that people will see most. Now, probably the next one I get calls for is BAT stop. Now, BAT, it's not Rise of Dracula, I'm sorry to say, it's not that dramatic, and it is just short for battery. STP, so you'll see BAT and stop, STP, battery stop. The controllers have a battery protection mechanism. They also have a voltmeter. So the voltmeter is reading the voltage of the battery across the two terminals. However, take into account that then that's travelling down 2 meters of cable. So you might find your battery's got 12 volts and the controller might see 11.9. That difference is because of the run of cable. The controller has two settings. If your battery is at 11 volts or lower, you will see BAT message flash on the control, and it will show you the voltage at the battery at that time. The pump will continue running at that stage. Once you get to 10.5 volts or lower, you will then find the pump stops, and the BAT STP, battery stop message, will show, and this is telling you that your battery is discharged. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, with most batteries, and lithium-ion batteries are slightly different. I know a lot of you are using those. Lithium-ion batteries can be discharged a lot more than a standard vehicle battery. Generally speaking, once you're below 11.8 volts on your battery, you're around about 50-60% discharge. So once you're dropping below that kind of level, really you need to be thinking about charging your battery. Once you're down at 11, you're probably 70% discharge, and it's definitely in need of a charge. Now, most good quality batteries, you'll get away with that a few times. So it may be you've got a longer working day, and you can see the battery's getting a bit low, but you want to finish. Hey, finish. But make sure you get your battery charged back up overnight.
So that battery stop, it will actually stop the pump,
It will stop the pump, yeah.
But you can override that if you're on the last job of the day. If you've got to work all day, you wouldn't want to override it because you'd ruin your battery.
Yeah.
But if you're on the last job of the day, you can override it.
You can.
And where will they find where to do that?
On the controller, you can probably just see here, if we press the down button and the enter button together, press and hold those, you'll see a message comes up, BAT. After BAT, it will say on. BAT on means the battery protection mechanism is switched on. Once you see BAT on, you can use either the up and down arrow, change that to off. You have now just overridden the battery protection. And as Dave's saying, and guys, if I was on the last job of the day, I don't want to come back tomorrow either. Use that to your advantage, finish the day's work, but you will need to go back and charge that battery once you get home. And I would say, put the battery protection back on again.
So once you've done the controller with the 2 buttons and set it on or off, it's then returned?
Exactly the same. You're just going to do exactly the same. You're just going to change that back to on. And the reason for doing that very simply is you don't want to actually destroy your battery. Now, the controller has an overcurrent protection. V16 can cope with 12 amps of current all day long, won't even blink. If there is potentially, and the common reason you'll see OC is that people maybe want to do their soft washing, and they've now gone and bought, a bigger pump, and it's 15 amp, it's 18 amp. The pump is now slightly too big for the controller, and to protect itself, you'll see this OC message. And OC, generally would mean the controller is seeing 13 amps or higher, and it's going, oh, that's enough, guys. And it's actually going to switch itself off, A, to protect the controller, B, to protect the cabling. Another reason you might see OC is if you have a damaged cable and the plastic outer bit's worn off and you've got the copper core and that touches a metal surface, that may also create a little bit of a short. And again, these are there to protect the controller and protect your systems. Those pretty much are the common things people are going to see. And I would always say that Dave has been brilliant over the years. There's some absolutely brilliant video content around pump controllers, and thank you so much, my friend, for your support with that. There's also YouTube videos. This stuff's on the website. The controllers have a QR code on the side normally. If you scan that will link you through to the website. And Monday to Friday, I'm usually around between about 8 and 6 during the day. If you're really stuck, guys, give me a call.
Now, you might think, well, I haven't got a Spring controller.
Yep.
I've got an X-Line or Window Cleaning Warehouse or whoever else. So have they got one of your controllers?
Yes, they have. Pretty much all of the UK distributors and system builders will have a V16 controller.
Made by Spring.
Produced by us in the UK, and it's actually worth saying these are UK produced, UK designed. We design literally from the ground up. Everything is done by Spring. The distributors, now if you're an Ionix or an X-Line or a Window Cleaning Warehouse or a facelift, you don't want to have Spring on it. Why would they? So you'll find that the V16 is branded for the distributors, but these same instructions and messages will follow.
So just very quickly touching on, there is exciting things coming along with Spring because you've got your new V16. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail with that because hopefully we'll be seeing one of those soon and giving it a test because I'm very tempted with those.
Yeah,
but
we're going to get, yes. No
so what is the V16?
Okay, V18 in short, and over the years, and I've been doing this 15 odd years now, people say, oh, doesn't that look a bit old fashioned? Well, yeah, because it's a plastic, it's a box, it's an IP65 box, and it's worth making that point because it needs to be water resistant. Electronics and water don't mix very well, so the box is bespoke made for us to try and keep everything dry and secure. It's hard wearing. The internals of the controller, they've changed dramatically over the years.
Anybody that had the V11 and then went to the V16 will recognise this.
Indeed, yeah. There was a number of changes between those two controllers. The big change was the reverse polarity protection, so that if, and I've done this, guys, red and black, just wrong way around, you go, ah, crap. With the V16, no big deal, correct the polarity, and it's happy. And
does that come up with a message if you do?
It just won't switch on.
Right, so that's another thing. If when you're wiring up your controller and it won't switch on once you've wired it up, you've reversed the polarity.
Yes. So just correct that and it should be fine. The biggest single change with V18 is the display. We're going to move toward, with the V18, yes, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. And the reason it's a little bit more expensive is it has a liquid crystal display. So the kind of thing you'd see on your phone. So the V18 doesn't show P5, it doesn't show DE, it will use pressure switch, it will say dead end, it will say low battery. V18, you can buy it as a premium controller and just literally switch like for like. Same cabling, same operating methods, very, very similar to V16. The big single change is the LCD display. There's a couple of other features that we built into V18, such as it has a built-in GPS, it has built-in vehicle tracking, and that will be accessible via a web portal, which we can get a bit more detail later. And there are other elements of V18 which we can touch base on. But it is...
Those will be coming in a later video.
Yeah,
we'll have a look at all that and really point out who it's ideal for. And it has got a lot of features, but you don't have to have them all, do you?
No, you don't. No, you can have it. I mean, we call the V16 V16B as V16 Basic, which personally I hate. I always refer to it as standard controller because that's the one people recognise. And then, of course, we have a whole other range. Now, the V18 just sits in with those, and it will have a number of different features and abilities.
So they're the same, but with added features.
Yes. It's fantastic.
Thank you very much, Ian.
And you, Dave. I think we owe you a coffee, mate.
I hope that's helped everybody. If you do have any problems, number one, check all your cables, check your hose, make sure everything's working. Yep. Check your calibration. If you're still really stuck, scan the side of your controller, scan the QR code, and that'll take you to your...
That'll take you to the Spring website.
Yeah.
Now, just be aware that we've said already that the controllers are branded, so you'll see just the standard Spring branding, but it is the V16. The information relates to the controller.
If you can't work that out, ring your supplier. They should help you. And if they can't work it out, then Spring are very helpful. But they should be the last resort because you should go through all your other bits and pieces first. They're very busy people. We don't want to overdo it with problems for them, but they are helpful if you are stuck. So thanks very much, Ian.
Thank you, Dave.
We'll see you again soon.
You will indeed, sir.